Look at that. Look at that.
Buzz.
Hay is for horses, by the way. Don't hay me when you come in here. YouTube actually notified me again. Nice.
We'll see how many they actually send, though.
Yeah, we'll see. I've not seen. I don't care that they're making another Mario movie, bro. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I want to hear about it. I don't care. Do not give a shit about any video game movies coming out.
Burned too many times.
Yeah.
Just when we were watching that Mortal Kombat thing, you just sounded like you were just deflating by the second.
Yeah, dude, it just got worse and worse. It was like being, I felt like a balloon that somebody's doing that little squee trick with. It's like, slowly but surely, it's just running out. It was not a good movie. I mean, paid training is one of the things that, like, these kind of apprenticeship-based unions provide as a benefit to people. So, yeah, I don't see any reason why not, Phoebes. The idea of apprenticeship in general, I think, needs to come back in the non-collegiate crafts.
Yeah, there's way more kids that would be served better by, like, having more of, like, a work-focused education.
There are people that, like, look, dude, there are people that really enjoy that shit. Maybe not, like, base customer service shit, but, like, being a mechanic, being,
carpenter.
Yeah, a carpenter, a construction guy, a fucking welder, yeah. Like, all of these things, there should be, like, federal programs that give tax benefits to any professional that's running their own business that takes a young student under their wing as an apprentice, help to fucking pay that student's salary so that the person teaching the kid isn't completely out of pocket for it. You know what I mean? Maybe meet them halfway on the salary or some shit. It just seems like you should incentivize this shit. Pass that knowledge on. You know, there used to be a really robust, it's one of the things I'm slowly but surely peeling through as I get through this really dense French Revolution book I'm reading, is like apprenticeship was a huge deal in France. It's like pretty much if you wanted to get a job that was anything other than just grunt, backbreaking labor, you had to get an apprenticeship with somebody. But once you had that apprenticeship, you became a member of the guild and like all of that shit. You had all this protection. It was like the labor unions of the time. These like different guilds overseeing the different magisteria that people would, professionally pursue. So yeah, it's an idea that's as old as the fucking hills, but you've got to convince people that it's better than the way that we do things today, and nobody wants to admit that because it requires people to change the way they do things. Live differently, expect different things, pursue things differently, and they just want to continue buying into the idea that we can keep functionally moving forward without changing anything. That's the easy way. That's the road, that most people travel by. So it's well cut and well cleared. What's standing in the way of convincing people to do something differently? Just like the inability to compete anymore. It used to be that people that were agitators and labor advocates and stuff, and we're talking even like pre-American here, pre-colonial. We're talking about like, those people had a voice that was at least as important to the workers as the king's voice, right? And in a lot of cases, more so. But now I can't be Kanye West. You know what I mean? There's such a standard for celebrity and such a standard for expertise that listening to average people, it's just not what people do anymore. And as a result of that, functionally, that really important conversation that really starts locally about labor organization and stuff is kind of stymied, I think, by design. You know, we have a glut of information, we have a glut of news, so much that you could draw pretty much any conclusion that you want from anything. And that, it leaves a void of ideas that society can change. In fact, America has been based around this premise for as long as I've been alive, and I can tell you as long as my parents have been alive, of like our way of life is sacrosanct and it won't be changed, and God damn it, we refuse to change. And that's trickled down to the way people live their fucking lives. And as much as they hate getting up in the morning and going to a fucking shit job, and as much as they hate, the way that their lives are turning out, however they're turning out, they're fiercely defensive of that system because it's all they know. It's the devil you know is better than the one that you don't. And asking people now to risk themselves requires them to be exposed in a meaningful way to people who have genuine fucking revolutionary interest. And there's too much media in the way of that. There's just too much.
It's hopeful change is what they care about. Like the Theranos thing we just watched. They want the next magic machine. They want the
Yep.
next...
That's exactly right. It's the easy fix. It's the idea that we can keep going just like we're going, and eventually the right person's going to come along, get in the right position, and change everything up. And by change everything up, I mean just change up how much you get paid, not change up my life, not change up my lifestyle and my expectations for my life, not change up the way I think about my civic responsibility, not change up the way the government works functionally. Just make things better without having to do any of that. Because I don't want to upset my own apple cart. I was talking about this the other morning, about how California is a place where, like, person to person, most people support like conservation efforts and major change to like water stuff. But those very same people have green ass lawns. You know what I mean? They want it to apply to other people. People have a really easy time prescribing things to other people, and a much tougher time prescribing those same things to them. They want other people to be getting tickets for their green lawn, but leave me alone. You know what I mean? And that seems self-defeating, and it really is ultimately, but that's the mindset that you're fighting against when you're talking about upsetting people's expectations for their lives based on the paradigm that they're living in. They're going to be defensive of it.
Everyone's got to point the finger at someone else.
Right. It's like a fucked up family.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, so if I say this like everybody doesn't know at least a person or have one themselves. If you know somebody who's grown up in a fucked up family, those people might badmouth their own family from time to time, but if you badmouth their family, it's fucking on. They're fiercely defensive of their families. And you'd think, why? You're fiercely defensive of the people that abused you? You're fiercely defensive of the people who verbally abused you, neglected you, whatever happened to you in your childhood to make it fucked up. But yeah, psychologically, yeah. The devil you know. It's easier and like maybe not in the long run, but in the short term, to keep those bonds of connection than it is to sever them. When you sever those bonds of connection with your family, if that's what needs to happen in order for you to move beyond things, you're giving up that lifeline. You're on the trapeze without a net. And people are too scared to do that. And so it leads to the psychological phenomenon of defending your oppressor and being fiercely defensive of the very, like, you know how often if you listen to average run-of-the-mill Joe Blow Republicans talk, do you know how many like moments of cognitive dissonance you'll catch where, like they'll say things like, well, that medication ought to be paid for. You know what I mean? I've talked to my cousins about this shit. I don't think anybody should have to pay for insulin. I'm just like, all right, well, why should anybody have to pay for fucking, nitrous for their heart? Why should anybody have to pay, or nitroglycerin for their heart? Why should anybody have to pay to have a tooth fixed? Well, yeah, because that's socialism. And it's just like, well, isn't it socialism to give people fucking, well, they don't got no choice, though, diabetics, though. Well, some do. What about the ones that just got fat and got type 2 diabetes? And it just all falls apart. It's just cognitive dissonance piled on top of one another. And it's not because these people are stupid. Some of them are real stupid. But it's not necessarily person to person because these people are stupid. If you think that, you're massively, massively understating the problem. What's at play here is the very psychological phenomena that we're talking about. Have I visited Montana? No. Thanks for asking. Well, most conservatives who have taken some form of welfare don't even recognize it as such. It's once again, it's that same thing about like some guy might fucking sit and rant to you about water conservation, and then you follow him to his house, not claiming you should do this, but let's just say you do, and he pulls up to a house that's got a big manicured Bermuda lawn that he's dumping 700 gallons of water a week on in the middle of a fucking 106-degree drought summer. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, yeah, for thee, though. Regulations for thee, but not for me. Don't come after me and tell me I gotta consume less of this, or I've gotta forego my desire to have the big giant truck because I can't demonstrate a need for such things. Or I've gotta fucking give up a little bit of this to ensure that my children have a lot more of this. Fuck that. People don't want that shit. They want it for you. They just don't want it for them. And that's where it all falls apart. Hence the wheel spinning and the incredible, incredible psychological defense mechanisms that go up for people that are like, and I'm not just picking on them, but just like people that are like staunch electoralists, where most of their political activism is centered around electoral cycles and making donations to, you know what I mean? Those types of people are so incredibly, incredibly defensive of the very system that is the source of the open sores that they're trying to defeat. It's like the virus that's causing the herpes, and they're just helping the virus along. And it's just a giant psychological block in their head. This can't be wrong, because if this is wrong, that means that I really got to do something. So this must be right. Slay Queen AOC, slay this, slay that. Put all my hopes in these fucking politicians who have sold this country and the working person up the river. You know.
It's kind of like that thing, like you said, like someone was being beat in the street, and like everyone thought, oh, someone else will call 911.
Kitty Genovese, yeah.
Yeah, it's someone else's thing. Oh, someone else will fix it. Someone else will do it.
Yep. I don't want to have to deal with the police. I don't want to have to give up my day to go to court. I don't want to have to blah, blah, blah. Somebody will call 911, and everybody, like literally, like I think 300 people witnessed the murder of Kitty Genovese in the middle of the street, and nobody did anything. They call it bystander syndrome. Yeah. That's what I think it's called.
Bystander effect.
Yeah. The bystander effect, yeah. Do you still subscribe to the Lolgic life philosophy? What would that be? It's been a while since I'd made a Lolgic video. You talking about surfing the crest of the moral zeitgeist and totally hanging 10 while doing so? Sure, why not? That's an easy one to still subscribe to. I quote from the Boondock Saints that mentions Kitty. We must all fear evil men, but there's another evil which we must fear most, and that's the indifference of good men, yes. I heard someone say why conservatives defend the unborn is because the unborn never ask for anything. They can feel good about themselves without sacrifice. Absolutely. And if you want proof of that, find me a fucking hardcore conservative organization that's about taking care of fucking kids that have already been born. If they care about the unborn, then logic should follow that they care about the born. But find me these fucking Republican, especially like mainstream political Republicans, screaming for people to fucking adopt and screaming for people to fucking use birth control and screaming for people to fucking intercede before abortion is necessary, screaming for people to take the burden of raising these children because goddamn we care about them. There's none. Doesn't exist. It's just it's something that they can argue against that they feel like they won't ever butt up against. And you want to know the funny fucking truth of it? A lot of people who oppose abortion find themselves in the position of having to get one, and they do it because they want to be able to have it for them. I should have a choice, okay? I was raped or I was molested, but you know what? Nobody else.
Or all these politicians like, oops, I got my mistress pregnant.
Yeah, go get an abortion. You know what I mean? Fly her to a fucking state where abortion's legal. God damn it. Get that thing cut out of there. It just, all of this shit that seeks to restrict what you do with your fucking body is all based on either shame or a desire to do that very same thing and the shame that comes with that. That's all it is, dude. It's just easy fucking moral targets that people can knock down and feel like they did something, but they don't abide by them themselves. They want everybody else to abide by them. Well, ultimately, yeah, it's about being sex negative. It's not just about punishing people for having sex. It's about punishing women for having sex. Women are not supposed to spread their legs until they have a really strong man and they're married. And when they do, they're whores and they have babies. And you know what? That's what you get. You don't get to decide not to have a kid. And it's just like, that's what it's about. It's about having control over what women do. That's what it's driven by. It's driven by that old-timey fucking idea that men are the fucking heads of the kings of the household and women are the hand servants. You know what I mean? The Bible calls women helpmates. That's why God created Eve for Adam. Now, when God is mentioning why he created Adam, there's no mention of Adam being a helpmate. But when Eve is created, she's created to be Adam's helpmate. And you'll find those very words used in religious marriage ceremonies and shit. I've been to a bunch of marriages where they talk about obey and fucking all that shit. They have different fucking vows for men and women. Like they'll say cherish for the guy, to cherish and love till death do you part, and then for the woman they'll say to obey and love till death do you part. So that's 100% what it's based on. It's just that old-timey idea that men got to say over what women do. That women can't handle their own fucking ideas. They can't handle their own bodies.
Yeah, it's crazy that like all these pro-life people are also anti-fucking birth control.
A lot of them are, which is ridiculous.
Like even like one of my like supposedly liberal friends and fucking at work. He's like, oh, I don't want my daughter to get birth control because then she'll just start having sex left and right.
It's just like, dude, people are corkscrew backwards on this shit. It's like, if they look back at their lives, they probably fucked before they're married. Very few people don't. And they think their kids are going to somehow be different if they ban condoms or some shit. It's like, no, you're going to create more unwanted pregnancies. They're going to end in abortion. Yeah, look at that sunset. It's very pretty tonight. Look at that. Like a painting. Like a big LED screen back there.
Maybe eventually we'll have just a little amount of smoke in the air that will get like the full view of the sunset. It still looks a little dim.
Yeah, I mean it's hazy. When we get out of here and get to a state that isn't burning to the fucking ground. I asked TJ if he would support the Capitol riots after watching his videos where he supported riots carte blanche if it was for a different cause, and he agreed. Do you agree, and for what cause? You're talking about so we'd have to just call it something completely different, dude. Because the Capitol riots comes with more than just the base description of what happened that day. It comes with the fucking vitriol. It comes with the fact that it was a racist mob. It was a mob of like mostly fucking white people flying the fucking rebel flag and shit. Like, no, I would never go along with that. There's no, you know what I mean? And you can't extricate that from the January 6th Capitol riots. Do I think rioting is fucking defensible? Fuck yes. For what? Workers' rights, higher pay, Medicare for all, end to fucking brutal anti-immigrant policies, pretty much anything that's going on, the end to war, the end of war profiteering, the end of fucking protection of war criminals, the end of mass incarceration, any number of these things that we talk about here, worthy of a fucking riot. But would I join the Capitol riots? That comes with more than just people storming the Capitol. It was racist people storming the Capitol with a fucking rebel flag. The flag of a fucking disgraced traitor nation was flown in the fucking capital of the United States. All of that context is wrapped up into it. They were all Trump cultists. They are all people who are blindly following some fucking ridiculous buffoon of a leader. No, dude. No, I wouldn't join that. I would never walk shoulder to shoulder with that. And that would never walk shoulder to shoulder for any of the fucking things I care about. That supports mass incarceration. That supports people being denied their fucking health care. That supports fucking punitive measures against immigrants. I mean, if it was a different group of people and a different reason, then why even use the example Capitol riots? Why don't you just say, would you support violent revolution for any fucking reason? Different cause would mean different people there, different set of circumstances. You can't say Capitol riot, different cause. It just muddies the waters, bro. Capitol riot, different cause, same people there, flying the same rebel flag and conducting themselves in the same way and shit. It's a malformed question at best, and I answered it to the best of my fucking ability.
So there's been dozens of other demonstrations in front of the Capitol that weren't that.
Right.
That were actually for good causes.
Sure. So, I don't know. It's just a silly fucking question. Just snag myself a pack.
I'll go get it for you, baby.
Oh, thank you, honey. I want to flip the light on too.
Yeah. Would you rather have the bathroom light so it's not as harsh?
Sure. We'll try it that way. A storm on the Capitol to invoke a different cause. The Capitol riots were just a dichotic equivalency. To support a different cause? I don't know, bro. It depends on the cause, right? It depends on the cause. Capitol riot does not just a simple desire for fucking reform or some shit in my mind. Capitol riots were like, at least in intent, a violent insurrection in the United States. And so, do I support the idea of people doing that at some point? Given the cause, sure. Do I support anything about the fucking Capitol riots or any of the people that partook? No. I mean, whatever, bro. I'm not going down this rabbit hole any further. You got your answer, and if you're not fucking satisfied, you can, I don't know, remain that way. Thank you, baby. Oh my god, dude. Too stupid. Too stupid to fucking participate. Get out. Get out. Protests don't involve fucking storming into fucking public buildings and destroying fucking property. Protests don't involve people bringing zip ties and weapons to fucking kill people. That's not a protest. That's an insurrection. That's an assassination attempt. And it was open and naked. They built a fucking gallows out in front of the fucking Capitol building and were actively searching for people to bring out to it, including the Vice President of the United States. I'm not making this up. This is actual truth. This is not up for debate. That was the intent. There were numerous photos of people jumping all around the fucking Capitol building in the chambers with zip ties and fucking combat gear and shit. That's not a protest, bro.
There's been some like actual protests in front of the Capitol that actually inspire change.
Right. And there's also been protests in front of the Capitol that were nonviolent that were mercilessly put down. So I don't understand how these fucking white yokels sauntered their drunk asses into the Capitol without way more of them getting blasted.
Like it's shocking only one person died on that side.
Dude, I remember as that was unfolding that day, I was like, this is, number one, this is crazy. Number two, a lot of people gonna die today. Because I was just like, fucking the military response to this is gonna be swift and brutal. Fucking Congress is in that compound, and these people are rampaging through it. It's like there's gonna be an immediate deadly response to this. Nope. One person got shot. Ashley Babbitt, right? Yeah. It was a white violent riot at the Capitol, so. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, dude. If they would have caught somebody in there that, even that somebody that they thought was like a congressperson who was just a fucking like aide or a news reporter or something, they would have lynched them. They were out for fucking to kill people. They crushed a fucking guard. They crushed several members of their own fucking people stampeding to get into the fucking thing. Bro, they were out for blood. There's no question about it. I've seen the pictures. It's just not even arguable. This idea that these people were just memeing inside the Capitol is fucking ridiculous. There's video of them going room to room looking for fucking people, calling the names of Congress people. Exchange, like, dude, Tim Giannette's fucking live stream alone catches like 28,000 fucking acts of treason. It's ridiculous. Hear people talking about, oh, I think Pelosi's down here, fucking running by and shit. I've seen the tapes, dude. I've watched what was available of Tim Giannette's fucking live stream, Baked Alaska, aka. Dude, I've seen the fucking footage from that day. I've heard the fucking recordings from that day and the cell phone footage that people took from that day that's been released out. I've seen the photos from that day. I know what happened that day. It's not even up for fucking debate in my mind. My eyes tell the whole fucking story. A huge, violent mob of mostly white people with racist intent and the intent to disrupt the fucking legal election of this country and install their fucking dictator puppet guy stormed the Capitol looking to kill people. 100%. That's it. That's it. When did I say it was all the Republican conservatives' fault? I didn't I didn't assign blame fucking at anybody. I just talked about what happens, which triggered you. It triggers you to hear what happened nakedly in front of your eyes. You think that might be a problem, homeboy? Think it might be a problem that you're seriously, sincerely triggered by hearing somebody just recount the fucking actual events that happened that day? Might be an attempted insurrection, but I feel a coup is a bit too far. I don't know. The sheer inability to go accomplish anything beyond simple occupation of the building makes me hesitant. Dude, you don't. To be an attempted coup, like a coup doesn't have to succeed to be a coup. Their fucking purpose is right there in black and white. Once again, watch the fucking police body cam video that's been released from that day. Watch the fucking Tim Giannette live stream excerpts that you can see. Watch the fucking cell phone footage that's been released that day. There's no question what the intent of that group of people was. Why do you think it happened on fucking January 6th? That's the day that the fucking election is certified. You think it was just like, it happened to be on January 6th? It was on January 6th because they wanted to disrupt the legal certification of Joe Biden as president and install Donald Trump as perma president. And that's open and naked on the lips of multiple fucking people in that crowd. And in their fucking signage and in the things that they carry. They carried a fucking failed insurrectionist rebel flag into the Capitol building of the United States. Think about that.
You wanna keep arguing with this fuck or
Just ban the dumb fuck. He's got nothing to say. Ooh, okay, ain't a fucking response, you dumb fucking idiot. Rumple fuck stick. These motherfuckers will argue about this shit. They built a gallows out in front and were hanging fucking members of Congress in effigy from it. They were actively running through the fucking halls of Congress dressed in tactical gear with zip ties and shit. The intent to take prisoners and either hold them hostage or execute them was fucking clear. So what do you call that? People will argue about this because it makes them wrong all the whole time they supported a certain candidate. There are tons of Trumpies that are appalled by what happened that day, and instead of facing it and realizing what led to it, they fucking want to contextualize it. It's either, oh, it was Antifa that was doing that. That's not, it was Antifa. This ridiculous narrative that it's somehow some false flag attack against their dumb bumpkin asses. Or they want to make it into like, it was just a peaceful protest, bro. Was your insurrection? LOL. And it's just like, those people are infantile. Those people are people that just can't face the facts because the facts would include going, holy fuck, I was wrong. So they can't do it. They won't do it. They refuse to do it. And so in pursuit of some kind of vindication, They support the most fantasy Willy Wonka fucking Alice in Wonderland fairy tale shit you've ever fucking heard. A whole ass group of dumbass Antifa got together and dressed up like rednecks and woohoo and pretended to do it, even though huge figures of the alt-right were all there. Tim Giannett, fucking Baked Alaska was there. That alt-right shaman guy. They just happened to be there, but the rest of them, they were all Antifa. Give me a fucking break. Dude, tell me another one, C.S. Lewis. And then fucking, like, if it's not that, it's this, like, just like, they'll come right at you and be like, dude, it was just a fucking peaceful protest. Why don't you get triggered? Why are you so triggered? Black Lives Matter did this same shit in fucking Cleveland and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, they fucking didn't. No, they didn't. Black Lives Matter, fucking number one, weren't the people that were fucking rioting. It was just the people of that fucking area rioting. Okay? It wasn't just Black Lives Matter. The people in the fucking, we're talking about the fucking George Floyd riots. That was the people of these fucking neighborhoods rising up. Black Lives Matter included. All right? And they were going after the fucking institutional racism. They were expressing rage at yet another person being fucking killed in the street for no good fucking reason by cops. Racist white cops yet again. And they were expressing their so that's different. These people, when you listen to them, like I said, in the available evidence, of which there is tons on the Capitol riot, tons of live streams that day, tons of fucking cell phone videos have come out. It's clear. Stop the fucking count. Find Pence. Find Pelosi. Find AOC. You hear this shit over and over and over again on the tape, but you want to tell me it was just a peaceful protest. That's not the type of shit that goes on a peaceful protest. People want to point at other times people have occupied state buildings. Teachers, for example, have crashed the gates at state buildings, fucking done sit-ins in the rotunda and shit. All right? And they want to say that's the same thing. Who had zip ties at the teacher protest? Who had fucking tactical fucking gear and shit at the teacher protest? Who built a gallows at the teacher protest and was actively searching for a fucking local official to kill? Don't even compare, dude. Haven't you seen The Handmaid's Tale? The source material was written in 1985 and almost perfectly predicted the events. I mean, I don't know. I've seen The Handmaid's Tale, but it's been a long time. Religious right taking over the USA with terrorist attacks on the Capitol. Great show. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, I haven't, so... It's been a long time. If I have, like, The Handmaid's Tale, I remember the book. I don't remember reading the book. I just remember when the book was out. And then I don't think I've seen the fucking movie, so. Didn't BLM kill like 60 plus people while the insurrection was literally one death via protest? So you think that, like, I'm defending people killing other people in riots? Is that what you got?
Yeah, so you didn't make the I Love Riots video.
Nope. You're talking to the wrong guy. Yeah. I mean, I give people the benefit of the doubt when they come in with fucking numbers like that. I don't know how many people died in the fucking George Floyd riots. I genuinely don't.
I mean, there was way more people involved in the Capitol riot, so it makes sense that more would die just because there was more fucking people involved.
I guess. Dude, you need to chill out, bro. Nobody thinks you said anything you didn't say. Don't worry about what other people are saying. I paid attention on and off during the entire event. Okay. So then you know exactly what I've been talking about tonight is absolutely true. You've heard people say, fucking, where's Pelosi? Where's Pelosi? You've heard the intent. You've seen the gallows that they built outside. You've seen the dudes in tactical gear jumping all over the fucking House of Congress, right? You seen it? So you don't write. So I don't need to spend any time convincing you what was going on that day, right? You've heard what they were chanting. You don't agree with me? Then you're delusional. I'm not even going to read the rest of your comment, and I'm going to advise that you don't talk about it anymore. I'm going to finish this off by saying, based on the first part of that sentence, you're delusional. You have deluded yourself into believing things that are provably true. You don't have to take my word for it. You're literally blind, deaf, and dumb to the truth if you think that I'm fucking playing up anything I just said. I'm not deluded. They built a gallows out front. They were actively hunting people. They had fucking zip tie handcuffs. They were openly stating their fucking intent to capture people and to stop the count and to stop the processing of a legal election. You want to fucking argue with those? You have to argue with not just me, but the facts. The facts from that day. Period, point blank. Support me, not you. 100%. It's all glow in the dark nonsense. Bye. Bye, dumb fuck. Anybody else?
Where are all these conservatives coming from?
I don't even think that was one, dude. It's probably just a fucking troll. But that's, you know, whatever. Mission accomplished, because that's the exact fucking conservative argument. Yeah, people are just fucking stupid. They're just willfully blind. Nope. I just disagree. I tell him not what my opinion of what happened is, but literally I list off events that literally happened that day that you can see photographic and video evidence of. And he goes, I disagree with you. You can't fucking, I can't help you then, bro. I can't peel your fucking eyes open and make you watch the shit. Okay, if you've deluded yourself to the point of not being able to watch something and see what's happening with your own two eyes, talking to me ain't gonna do it. Best of luck. I'm just sick of this shit, dude. I'm sick of these delusional fucks, bro. Why do you think someone can look at the evidence and see something completely different? They don't. They don't. They make a conscious, objective choice to ignore the evidence in favor of a narrative. This has been proven. There's psychological studies about people who live in delusion. And this idea that they're so stupid or so fucking dumb or caught up that they don't know is wrong. They've ceased to care about truth. They care more about status within their own community and how many other people will back their delusion. But they know.
It's like the Theranos that we just watched.
Yep. It's the same shit. It's how these fucking companies that are based on lies go on running for years and years and years before somebody blows the whistle. Did you ever get your coach? Thanks for the $5. They're reactionary and want seats to clap their hands. Yeah. Not only that, they're fucking convinced that if they can defy reality enough and control the narrative, that reality will bend to their will. They're not lying if everybody agrees with them. So the more people that they can convince with their half-handed, ham-fisted bullshit that involves literally closing your eyes and going la 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 and not looking at any of the shit that happened that day. And believe it or not, there are people out there that want this. But they know. Couch. Are you asking me about a DP meme? Thanks for the $2. Thanks for the now $7. My mother listens to maybe 5 or more podcasts by a bunch of grifters that are literally insane people feeding her lies about how the government vaccine producers want everybody dead. Yeah. Well, you got your answer, which was nothing. Pay me again if you want another non-answer. Otherwise, I'd recommend you keep your mouth shut. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and ban you from making any comments that aren't paid comments. You want to talk any more tonight, you pay me. Otherwise, I'm going to ban you. Curious? Fucking people gotta fucking test me. Paul, besides Trump, allegedly, who do you actually believe led the coup? Because none of the arrested attendees got convicted with insurrection, treason, or sedition. It's all lesser charges. Most trials end with plea deals that end in lesser charges. That's just the way it is. Most investigations end with lesser charges at the end of the fucking justice system.
Well, it's like, who actually wants to put in the effort to like argue a case of treason? You can just get them to plead something else.
Right.
Like, you know how fucking expensive and how much time it would cost to like try every single one of those people for treason.
Right. Take my money. Okay, I will. Thank you. I like it. I like that money. Well, that was a spicy conversation about nothing, in my opinion, and about literal fucking reality that's right here in front of your face. It's like one thing if there's some kind of theoretical thing that happened that nobody saw any video of, and it's he said, she said type of deal, and people are taking 2 different sides. Like, I think that's fucking monkey business too. But at the very least, I can understand the argumentative nature of people taking sides on an unknowable. But when it comes to shit like this, where it's literally like one of the more documented fucking insurrections of all time, it literally like hours and hours of tape that you can watch, and you just refuse to do it. You go, I just disagree, bro. Well, fuck me. What am I gonna do with that, bro? I know your eyeballs are seeing the same shit, or at least capable of seeing the same shit that I am, but you're probably just not watching it. And if you want to stick your fingers in your ears and go la 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 la, dude, I'm not a kindergarten teacher, homeboy. I don't get paid to deal with that shit. I was just curious. Sorry, man. Well, now you know. Your curiosity killed the fucking cat. I wouldn't type with that fucking thing because you'll just get banned. They argue against the sky being blue if they had a reason to. Yeah. True that.
There's just a lot of information that anyone can craft whatever narrative they want.
Yep.
There's always someone that can fucking organize a website that can fucking say a thing. The website is just well put together enough that it looks like it has credibility or whatever.
And sometimes it doesn't even need that. Yeah. These 4chan boards and shit. It's like the epitome of fucking shady, low rent fucking bullshit. And it's just like people are fucking looking at that like it's the burning bush tablets that Moses brought down from on high, you know? I like it. Paul, be glad you don't participate with the Twitch politics debate. The number of times I've seen conservatives disregard scientific evidence they're presented with is insane. I don't do debates, so that's a good thing for me. I don't like doing debates. I like arguing. Leave the debates to the debaters, man.
It was getting too quiet lately in the chat. I guess it was only a matter of time.
Yeah. The chat demons have arrived. When it comes to the police violence, a lot of them defend it because they get off on it. I have family, of course. They're conservative cops who brag about abusing people when they can. They love it. Yep. I have a similar, you know, similar experience. Do you drink whiskey? If you do, what's your go-to? I do not. Sorry.
Unless it's an eggnog.
Yeah. Put whatever in eggnog and I'll drink that shit. I liked your debate with Vigilant Christian Mario back in the day. I never had a debate, though. I don't even want to litigate this again. Dude, I feel like a lot of what I do recently is like rehashing. And that's going to happen from time to time. But man, I feel like I swear to God I just talked about this shit. A debate is moderated with a set fucking topic beforehand. It's moderated by an impartial person and is typically done before an audience. And it's very strictly time formatted so that people get equal time to respond and present and give their opening and closing statements. I've never done one of those. I've never participated in a debate. The closest I've come is participating in a couple of structured discussions, which are not debates, by the way. Having somebody going like, "Okay, it's your turn to talk," doesn't make a debate. We're talking about free form, open, moderated kind of discussions. Taken place in a few of those in my time, but I've never done a debate. Never debated a single person. And I won't. I don't like the format. I just got done telling you that I clearly would not consider my talks with Vosh debates. Was there a moderator in my talk with Vosh? Was there a set fucking list of topics that would be covered? Was there strict time limits on talking? None of those things that I just gave you were present.
No predetermined topics.
Nope. It was just, here you go. We're going to fucking go at it. So it was a fucking lightly structured talk with Vosh because he and I had a discussion beforehand in DMs about what like the broad topics we might discuss that day are. So I would say it's a lightly structured discussion or argument or combination of those two things. But I've never debated anybody. If every time you talk to somebody who has an opposing opinion with you, you're having a fucking debate just means nothing anymore. Like debate, there's a reason why you call a debate, and an argument, and a discussion, and a conversation. These things are tangible and they're different. It's the most rehashed subject you deal with. Electoralism shit. It's got to be, and I probably bring it up and rehash it just as often as it's brought up. Lately, it's been my fucking ideas on the internet. People are real fucking triggered by those, so I've had to rehash that a lot. Anytime there's like a big fucking event, the chat gets real rehashy. And
everyone's a newsboy.
Yeah, everybody's the town crier. Extra, read all about it. You know, that gets pretty fucking rehashy too. What's your most controversial opinion? That human beings should be reduced to a level where they are once again living within the laws of limited competition, and that the earth should be given a chance to heal from their destructiveness. I would say that's probably the opinion that I have that would draw the most controversy, because then people would just Well, I mean, it's a very pearl clutchy type of thing to say because they go, oh yeah, Hitler. Well, how do you choose? I don't want to choose. I said I want humanity to be reduced. I didn't say I wanted to be the one to be reducing it. But I want humanity to be stripped of its fucking technology and stripped of its ability to harm the earth any further. And given one last chance to live within the laws of limited competition and not destroy everything around them. And if they do, well, I feel like their death will be swift at their own hands anyway. And if they don't, well, then maybe we got a chance to fucking grow out of this little adolescent phase that we're in and become an actual fucking species. But right now, dude, looking at the fucking devastation, the literal tangible devastation that mankind has wrought on wide swaths of the environment, it's plain to see, dude. It's plain as the nose on my face. For me to say that humanity deserves to survive means that nothing else that's left on this planet deserves a chance at that. Because make no bones about it, humanity will not stop until there is nothing left to support it. And I don't fucking think that's right. I don't think that's what humanity, that's the position that humanity should occupy on this fucking planet. We're clearly not developed enough to handle it. So yeah, that's probably my most controversial opinion.
Dude, this moderating is stressing me out now.
Yeah, just baby, you ain't ever gotta moderate. Don't worry about it.
It's too stoopy.
Yeah, there's lots of stoopiness going on tonight, dude. Stay on topic or get banned. Do you think you'd do well in that ideal world? I think you or most of us would survive in a hunter society. I mean, would I, if you took my big fat blubbergumptious ass, survive in that? No, but I'm not talking about the transition to that being instantaneous. If I were raised in that environment, would I be fine? Yeah, and so would you. You'd be just as fine as you are now in this environment. I mean, yeah. That doesn't really say much. I'm a human being, right? So I've got the same body as pretty much any other fucking human being. There's genetic variance, obviously, between us, but my blood looks like your blood. My guts look like your guts, etc. So if I were raised in an environment where humanity was living in relative homeostasis with its environment, fucking as, roving hunter-gatherer tribes level people who were not taking more than they gave back from the fucking environment, or occupying a fucking spot on the hierarchy and fulfilling their role in the fucking circle of life and shit, not attempting to dominate and fucking consume it all. Absolutely, dude. I'd be fine, and so would you. I'd be at least as fine as I am now. And let me tell you this, the earth would be way more than fine. So you think future generations should live that way, but you admit that there's no way that you or the majority of people could adapt to that right now? Yes. Yes. And transitions from one way of life, like the one we're living now, to the way of life that I'm describing don't happen in the blink of a fucking eye. This isn't a movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, homeboy. This will take generations and generations and generations, and I'll be way gone, and so will you. And the people that fucking functionally live in that society, should it come about, will be just fine because they'll be prepared. They will have lived in a society that prepared them for that. You and I did not. So, there you go. I don't think we're going to have to reduce population. I think population is going to reduce itself as well, I mean, let's put it this way. When I say we, I mean average people. I think that governments around the world will definitely play their role in reducing population for sure. Maybe not with that as the stated goal, but just as they get more and more desperate to capitalize on the last remaining natural resources on the planet, especially the high value strategic resources like natural gas and oil. Boop. That, coupled with the massive climate shift that's happening right now as we speak, is going to take care of a lot of business. There's going to be a lot of dead people. How do you transition to that way of life living through the generations, or is that something that will occur naturally during the collapse? The latter, yes. The same way that we transitioned from hunter-gatherers to sitting on our asses fucking 60 hours a week typing away at a fucking computer and straining our eyes at a fucking screen. Gradually. By degrees. And due to need and necessity. What is the law of limited competition? I'm not as eloquent as some people are at describing what it means, but it's basically the law by which pretty much every other species on the planet lives, given that it remains in its natural environment. So here's the best way that I can explain it. There is a pride of lions. There's 3 females hunting, laying in the shade tree, and they're looking out at the herd of gazelles in front of them. And those gazelles are staying in the area because it's near the only watering hole, and they will not survive if they don't spend a few days watering up. And so the lions know from experience that those gazelles are not going to leave the area. So what do the lions do? The lions take 3, 4, 5 gazelles and take it back to the fucking cubs and to the males, and the lions eat. And the gazelle herd moves on, minus 5 individuals, and the circle of life continues. So the herbivores have been culled, but not destroyed. The carnivores have been fed, and nobody is taking more than they need. No animal is trying to stock a surplus at the expense of another animal. That is the law of limited competition, and it is actually the law by which every ecosystem on the planet survives and has survived in the millennia that have existed, where life has competed and coexisted. Every animal must not take from its environment more than it needs, nor exclude others from taking it from their environment, nor hinder the progress of those that would compete with those animals, right? I mean, it's a tough thing to describe, but I like the visual example of the pride of lions. What the pride of lions does not do is what the group of humans would probably do. Kill the entire herd of gazelle, preserve as much meat as they can for themselves, and then take the surplus and trade it to another tribe in exchange for something that they need. That's not abiding by the law of limited competition. That is depleting the herd. So you're not taking 4 or 5 individuals here and there along as the herd fucking migrates looking for food and water holes. You take the whole herd. You take half the herd at a time. Lions don't do this. No other animal does this. Well, that's the paradigm that we live under, and it's an absolutely laughably impossible paradigm. The expectation of infinite growth. That's what comes when you have the rise of cities, right? You have these huge swaths of land that house ever more human beings on them that literally, like, the ground they live on could not support them. They require the importation of resources in order to function. Once you have that, You've got every fucking ill that you can think of. So you've got surplus, you've got war, you've got disease, you've got famine, you've got want, you've got need, you've got exploitation of labor. All of it comes from that. All of it comes from that desire to have more than you need as a strategic angle against other competing groups. That's it. Period, 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 period. And when other animals display this type of behavior, they don't do it in a way that's destructive to the entire environment around them. It might be destructive to another tribe of apes for an ape troop to take more territory than it needs. But that ape troop is not functionally burning down the forest and milling it into paper to wipe their asses with, right? So you understand that even when animals act in ways that seem to violate the law of limited competition, like take, for example, squirrels will often stockpile more acorns than they need to live through the winter. And that's just common sense. If the winter is longer than you think, you want to have a little extra. But when they're done with it, squirrels and other fucking nut gathering, winter hibernating animals of various species will often leave behind this whole cache of acorns or nuts and shit. And what happens to the environment as a result of that animal seeking a surplus for the winter? The environment is enriched with fucking new trees that come out of the acorns that grow in the spring, and food for all of the bark beetles and crazy animals, and the circle of life continues. There's nothing destructive going on there. And these animals violate limited competition if they could, though. Humans have shown that we can live in harmony with it. Native Americans are a great example. But humans have seemed to follow, consistent path independent of one another to break the laws. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to answer that question. It's very theoretical. Like, would gorilla violate the law of limited competition if gorilla was human? Yes, but gorilla is not human, therefore it doesn't. Would the lion kill every fucking gazelle in that herd and tan their hides and sell it to the next fucking lion tribe for decorative fucking garb and winter blankets and shit? Fuck yes, they would, but they're not. They're, you know what I mean? We're the only animal that does this. And we're certainly the only animal that engages in anything like this that knows what it's doing. I mean, it's almost impossible for us to know what's going on in a non-human mind. Do you think humans would eventually just find their way back to doing things how we do them now? Well, I mean, there's a lot of different thoughts on that. My particular line of thinking is that if the population is reduced, super significantly by climate disaster, possible nuclear war, and all this shit, right? That the world that's left behind for the very few hardscrabble survivors of this is going to be toxic, filled with just like reeking refuse. I thought about something the other day. TJ was lamenting how his refrigerator was basically ruined when he fled the hurricane. He didn't have time to clean his whole fridge out, or didn't think to do it in the rush to get out. And his power was out for like a week, and everything in there went to shit, and it just literally ruined the interior of his fridge. Rotten meat, rotten everything, just fucking destroyed his fridge, right? And I was just thinking about, man, like, think about that times a million fridges. You know what I mean? Think about that times, 35 million refrigerators. Think about just the rot and disgusting fucking putrefaction that's going to be left behind in polluted environments, toxic waste dumps, blasted nuclear radiated fucking fields, fucking just droughts and horrible hurricanes that we can't even imagine the strength of. And they're all going to know that, look, it was these people that came before us that fucking did this shit, right? That's my thinking on it, is that if the population gets that reduced. You gotta go potty, D?
Get jumping on me.
Get out there and go potty then. If you gotta go pooty poo. You just want to lay out here? Okay.
Miss Daddy.
And so, to me, the idea that those humans, I mean, it's not unthinkable to me that the last surviving humans would eventually reach a point where they forget that lesson or whatever. But it seems to me that it would be pretty ingrained into any kind of future society that what was done to this planet was a fucking absolute travesty. Because, I mean, look at what they're going to see. Plastic oceans, just fucking gobs of old trash washing up for fucking millennia. Fish poisoned and birds strangled by the refuse left behind from this. Just whole areas where they can't go because people get sick. Big explosion fucking areas, and just empty lakes and species that disappear. And once again, these giant fucking storms that never cease to harry them wherever they go. Something tells me that those people are going to be pretty reticent to pursue the exact same path that we did, but maybe I'm wrong about human nature there. Assuming a massive global collapse, who do you think would fare better initially, with the global south or the Western worlds? Would our overdependence on tech cripple us? It's a good question. I mean, there are definitely people that, I don't know how to say this, I don't want to undermine these people or have it seem like folksy the way I put it, but there are people that are like closer to the earth, right? People that actually know how to grow their own shit, people that know how to survive for a few days without fucking toilet paper and fucking electricity, and right? And then we've got our fat pampered asses up here. Dude, when that shit goes out here, like easy food, easy electricity, dude, this society is gonna go ape fuck. We see it already. Like in just cities, if cities have these mass blackouts, there's just like mass rioting and looting and shit. People go nuts. Because it's just like, oh, lights are out, rules are fucking off. You know what I mean? It's just that quick. It's like, it's happened a bunch of times. People just loot, the opportunity looting. And it happens, and that, you telling me that shit isn't going to happen on a mass scale when these fucking blackouts start to become like, instead of hours long, days long? These fucking food shortages, and now you can only get your fucking groceries on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever the fuck. That's all right.
Boot that cockroach.
Yep. Gave him the fucking boot of justice, dude.
Suing the fucking bug spray company, not working as advertised.
Yep. Do you agree with Carlin when he says plastic is just one of the Earth's children? It all came out of the Earth, etc. I mean, in the long term, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. On a long enough term, all plastic will be just kind of broken down into its component parts and filtered out by the natural kind of systems of the Earth. There will be a time on this planet where there won't be a fucking scrap of plastic left. It'll just be thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands, maybe even millions of years in some cases, before you have a world that has no evidence of plastic. But yeah, the basic elements of plastic came up out of the Earth, and eventually the natural processes of Earth will return that plastic back to its base elements, as it does with everything else. It's just going to take fucking forever, and we don't have forever. It's killing the fucking planet now. And, you know what I mean, in terms of our ability to live on it. But, I totally agree with Carlin that it's us that's fucked. The Earth is fine. The Earth will heal itself. The Earth has been through this shit before.
The Earth isn't dependent on the survival of the species on it.
Right, no. The Earth doesn't even care that we're here. The Earth is not a fucking sentient thing. It's a biome that supports life under the right conditions. And it really doesn't care whether it's a ball of fucking rock or if it has trees and fucking oceans filled with beautiful flying fish all over it. You know what I mean? This Earth will be fine. This planet is going to be fine. We got no chance of destroying this planet. What we do have a chance of destroying is this planet's ability to fucking support life. Maybe for thousands of years, maybe for millions, depending.
Yep. We could easily be Venus or Mars.
Yep. There's abundant evidence that Mars was not that dissimilar from Earth at some point, at least in terms of the composition of its atmosphere and the fucking presence of water. We don't know if necessarily there was complex life there. We're looking at the very, like, you think those things don't change? You think there aren't Earth-like planets out there that have completely just gone...
We've already almost destroyed our atmosphere before.
Yeah.
Started, like, making a giant hole in the ozone layer. It's like, oh, fuck.
That's ongoing. We're still destroying the ozone. My biology professor claimed that the Earth is a sentient system. I mean, I understand that position, the idea of mass sentience, so that the life on this planet makes it a sentient system, but the natural processes of Earth are not dependent on sentience. Some of them are affected by sentience, but they're not dependent on sentience. So the fact that we have functionally poured so much carbon into the atmosphere that the fucking hurricanes have gotten bigger, probably be proof to somebody that thinks like that it's all one fucking organism reacting and acting upon itself. I don't look at it that way. I know, I look back at the times that life has been functionally wiped off the face of this planet, and there have been fucking 5 times before this. And I just think, well, another one of these. You know what I mean? This one's probably going to leave behind a lot less to work with for whatever comes afterwards. So probably looking at a pretty hard reset here. But, if you want to say that the planet's health is dependent on the ability for life to be on it, I say the planet is A-okay. There's going to be some kind of life feeding on all the fucking refuse that we leave behind. You can guarantee that. It just won't be us. We're a very soft, pink little organism. We require a specific mix of gases and a specific fucking temperature and access to clean water and abundant food and all this shit, man. We're just too soft, man. The roaches will be fine. Yeah, they'll be the cleanup crew. They'll come back in after everything, all of us are gone and nobody's here to fucking fend them off anymore, and they'll clean out those fridges. They'll clean up those dead bodies laying all over everything. Our intelligence compensates for our weakness, though, then why are we about to fucking crash? He claims that Earth literally is a sentient being cognizant of our existence and looking after us. He made us read biblical oh my God. All right, well, yeah, he's a fucking quack then. He's a quackaroo. All right, I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. Bye.